I've been flexing for the camera. That's how
He
it
keeps
started.
trying to flex. Although Brittany at my office saw Mark the other day. I just gave him a little confidence booster this morning. She's like, I saw Mark at what, Stater Brothers?
No, Chipotle.
Oh, Chipotle.
I got 2 meals for myself.
So Mark's getting thick.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
I know.
I gotta thank her.
I say fat. Because he's starting to get a little power belly.
Fat with pH?
No. Real fat. I mean, he's eating. Look at him. He's thick right now.
I'm gonna breathe heavy on this whole podcast.
Mark's trying to deadlift 500 pounds.
I know.
I know. It's trending.
This.
That's what's trending worldwide.
You know.
Trending in my world.
It's midlife crisis.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. I need something to do that.
I know. What are we
proves
gonna
that
do?
I'm young.
We got to figure out what we're gonna do after 4th of July too, because it's been fun kind of working towards that.
I think I'm gonna go back to my original goal of cleaning 300 pounds.
Ugh.
I have all these life goals that I've never hit. I realized that's my whole CrossFit career.
Do you want to work on something?
He's too skinny. Oh, that's perfect tie-in for
Goals?
relationship goals.
I have a big list of CrossFit goals I never hit.
Well,
mostly lifting goals, because CrossFit goals,
they're always dumb. But
it hurts too much.
This week we're bringing in Robyn Koenig. Got it right? Yeah! Our relationship advice expert. But the reason Robyn's a good friend and has been a good friend. And well, tell us first how you met Mark.
The CrossFit Sun members love Robyn.
Right.
Aww, I love
And they're all going to listen for Robyn. But that's how I first met you, was at CrossFit Sun.
Is that why you brought her on, so that we sneakily increase our views? Just if I have all the members at our gym listen to this or watch it, it's like, yes, we brought on someone they like.
Right?
Aww.
Not that other people that we brought in they don't like.
Like
but
Brittany, Melissa.
especially Brittany.
Oh.
So much fun.
Well, the good news is...
There goes my comments. My nice comments from her. It's gone now.
Well, I know that... I knew Robyn was starting to turn into a full-time coach after going to Steve Farber's seminar.
It's been a journey, yeah.
His leadership conference or something.
I think I introduced you two.
Right.
I referred, I guess, or introduced.
Well,
I don't know.
I heard you guys were working together, so...
That's true.
How did that come about first for CrossFit Sun?
So first I came to your gym, right, when I was working for the organization, and I was speaking, right, to help with the fundraising and, support your gym and all the efforts that they had done for the organization, which was phenomenal.
I'm trying to remember what, the first date you came in. Because you've been to our gym so many times. It's one of those, it's hard to pinpoint the very first one. Do you remember the very first time you stepped into the gym or met us? Because I'm drawing a blank on that one.
I want to say...
See, that's how many times she's been in her gym. She's family, and it's like...
I should go back and look, right, to see when was the first year. Because it was the first year that you had really come onto the radar as, top fundraiser, right? Because
so it might be 6 years ago then.
At least.
Holy...
Probably 6 years.
I've known you for that long?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I just remember that when I was starting Cook Chiro up, and I had sublease space out to my acupuncturist and my massage therapist, I remember I reached out to Mark and said, dude, you have family within your own coaching system, right? You have DJ, and I remember DJ's kids were being watched by Andrea, and then you had Leslie, and Leslie's kids are living at the gym.
Only mom and pop family.
Yeah, it was, and I was like, dude, we're close knit here at my office, family too. But I was like, we're not running as smoothly as Mark is. And I was like, how the hell did you do that? And then you told me you just met with Robyn at that time, and you guys were working on some kind of exercise between you, Mark, DJ,
at that
and
time,
Leslie.
yeah,
That?
We're always evolving. I mean, at that point when you came in, we were integrating a lot more of the Steve Farber framework of LEAP, and then Robyn was definitely just went to the certification. And then so I even invited her to one of our coaches retraining, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were doing that. You were doing LEAP too at the time.
We've integrated it somewhat here and there, but then at that point we wanted to make a big push. We wanted to have a CFS framework using love, energy, audacity, proof, and what does it look like. So we made a whole little workshop for our coaches just to strengthen the team and to kind of like have that one unified message.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a coach, as a trainer, you start to develop your own style and the way you want to coach people and mentor them. But it's nice to be on the same page. So even though we're all saying different things and we do it a different way, like DJ has his style, and which is more loud and in your face type of deal, but he gets the most out of you, right?
Yeah.
I don't do that. And sometimes I can learn from that. And Leslie is, if you ask anybody about Leslie, she's like your best friend immediately.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, even though we're all doing different things, we wanted to kind of explain to each other and then be on the same page. And that's where I had Robyn come into, I think, one of those too.
You had it all on a whiteboard, and I remember he showed me it, and I was like, I'm into this kind of stuff. And
that's right. I think that's what I told you. And I was like, hey,
right.
Robyn and I were working on, we've had a lot of coffee meetings, I remember going on, just chatting about coaching and leadership. And then I was like, you got to talk to Ian and vice versa, because you're starting to build your team.
Right.
And expanding and creating your own business. So
and that's how we're so interconnected, right? So, and I had met Steve Farber at your gym, just again through the organization, through the work that I was doing, and just also I love your gym, and it was like, this is in my area, in my hood. I should be coming to kind of hang out and meet your community, just phenomenal people. And then all of a sudden it came forward, it's like, oh well, you've met Steve Farber before, and I didn't really know what he did.
That's funny. No one knows what Steve does because he doesn't say anything.
Right. And so when you brought that up, and I was like, well, that sounds really interesting. Then I had coffee with Steve Farber to kind of pick his brain around, going through career transition, right? So led the organization for 6 years or so and was really looking at some new opportunities. And I was like, coaching, what is that? Like, not coaching, fitness coaching, but, leadership coaching. And like, I didn't know it was like a thing. I didn't know it was a whole industry and really the understanding about it. So he shared it with me. I went to his certification, got certified in the LEAP framework, and, just was like, this is really powerful stuff.
That I did that too, and it's seriously super powerful. It's like life changing.
So
yeah,
you should do that one day.
I want to, because I've only done the exercise, and I've
there's a workshop. It's a 1 day, and then it's
3 day
certification.
Yeah, I need to do it.
It's crazy,
and it kind of started my kind of exploration of that work. And then as you and I were chatting more about it, like, well, how do you apply this to working with your team? And so then the introduction to you and your team was like, well, let's bring this to life. Let's see what can happen if we just talk about the principles and see how does that work for you. And, it's funny because when we first started doing the workshops here with your team, it wasn't because anything was wrong. It was like, let's do something so powerful that's going to take this team from here to optimal,
right?
Expansion and opportunity. And
well, that's how I felt because with Mark's gym, I was like, if you guys are a family, I'm sure families have fights and stuff too, right? We get the same shit here. But like with your situation, I was like, dude, your kids were getting taken care of with each other. You guys were like raising families on top of it, on top of business. And
we have 9 kids
total,
just between DJ, between Leslie,
3,
and our family.
But I was like, DJ is a good leader of the AM group. You're a good leader of the entire gym. Leslie's a good leader of the PM gym. So at my office, I was like, Brittany's a good leader for acupuncture.
Yeah.
Melissa and Erica are a great leader of myofascial work, and
how do you bring them all together to one?
Right, and we all had the understanding of like the same common denominator of taking care of people, making them feel better. And that's why our businesses worked well together. But I was like, within my own office, how can we all just flow optimally together? Because it's a dramatic difference of if one person's out of my office, like right now our office manager is on vacation, you can feel like there's a missing piece. It's crazy. It's comforting to know that somebody can take a little break and get a nice vacation, and then like it could still flow, but it's still not that optimal flow of like when the office is buzzing and everybody's just on. Because like 2 weeks ago when we were training a new employee and Cassie, our office manager's here training, and it was flowing, I was like, you could just feel this crazy energy going. And I was like, that was not there, 2 years ago maybe, because there was a lot of transition from Grow Chiropractic to Cook Chiropractic, and it was very confusing, but it was confusing within our own office on top of it. And Robyn helped us bridge that gap. Like it wasn't, I'm not gonna say it was easy, right, to bridge it, but it didn't feel like a lot of work. It was just kind of like she just kept us staying productive so much that we didn't really even think about it. We just kept going.
Well, it was cool because, I mean, honestly, you had the vision.
Right.
You knew what you wanted. When we first sat down and talked about it, it wasn't that, like, I don't really know what to do. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I want to grow my business. I mean, you knew what you wanted. You had the vision for it. There was just some stuff that you're like, I want to kind of
it wasn't like an uphill battle for sure.
No. But. And so you didn't ignore some of the stuff. You decided to say, I want to address this and I want to address this. And at the same time, everything started to open up. Like, and that's kind of part of the work. And even in fitness coaching, I feel like it's the same thing. Once you say, this is my goal, this is my intention, this is the stuff I know that's getting my way. Once you start to work on removing those barriers, then everything else does get easier, right? It opens up other things and you see success in other areas that maybe you weren't expecting, but because you're focused on that forward movement and removing other stuff, it's just, the successes just start building on each other.
Robyn's best analogy is we're all in our own silos and we just need to break out of them and work together, because it's like we're all, like, you could come to my office and see just Brittany, you could come to my office and see just Melissa or just me, but like technically you can see all three of us in the same week and we'd all be saying the same thing. And that's kind of a weird concept to think about. It seems very simple, but when it's actually happening, you're like, this is crazy. So same thing in Mark's gym. If you go to AM class with DJ, he's going to be saying the same thing as Leslie, but differently. But it's still the common denominator is we're trying to get people healthier again.
Right.
So it's a weird concept.
Figuring out what that kind of foundational mission is.
Right.
You know, you can do a mission statement for your team, right? What is our collaborative mission? What are we always, it's your North Star.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to have one for your community, and you can have one for your family, you know, where you're always like, but this is our ground. This is where we're always going to come back to. Whether your work practice is different, like Brittany has her own intention of what she wants to do with her business. Melissa has her own intention of business. Every coach has their style, but the grounding is the common denominator, the North Star that you're always going to come back to. What is it that we're all working towards?
I think the North Star, right, it would be, the analogy is like the why, right? And I think what's brought us all back here, which is kind of cool, just listening, just like reminiscing, is that everyone that's on our team, our little network, right, it's our why, our North Star is to help people. And then that's what's kind of bringing us all back together again. It's like we all genuinely care about people, and in that umbrella, it's like we're all coaching, mentoring, or helping others to some degree, right? So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of cool. We're all back together again.
Oh, so warm fuzzy.
I know. It's just really weird to think about.
It's true. I mean,
because it seems so simple, but like when you're in it and you're just going and grinding every day, you're like, you don't stop and think about it at all until you sit down and talk with a coach like Robyn. Because even you and I with FixFit, we had concepts down. We had definitely proof that it's working and all this other stuff. But you and I working together, I always tell my patients, I'll be like, if you go work with Mark 15 minutes away from here, right? It's less than 15 minutes to your gym from my office. I work closer with Mark than I would someone next door that's a physical therapist. You know, I'm like, that's crazy. You know, like our gym, like people would literally get done with a workout, come right over here and be like, Mark told me to tell you this. And I'm like, go tell Mark this. And they go back. And then it could span over a couple days. And we're like, Mark and I are working closer together 15 minutes apart than seriously if I had a physical therapist, maybe even in my office. So that's awesome. How do we bridge that gap now with the FixFit process, right? And then
that was the history where Robyn had a big role in helping us kind of let us have what Bob calls that mind vomit, right? Where we were like, we have all these ideas, you know, you're running your business, which is hard, and I'm running mine, which is difficult, but it's like, what do we do with this FixFit thing?
And we sat down with Robyn about that.
We had a couple meetings with Robyn just to kind of go over where we're at, and we had no idea still. And then
still don't, but
it's nice to have
we're podcasting now.
Coaches need coaches too. You've heard that.
Heck yeah.
And so we reached out to Robyn, and then we gave her all of our issues and ideas, and then you helped us kind of sift it a little, right?
Yeah, it's a puzzle. Yeah. And when you're passionate about something and you want it so badly, you get really close to it. It's hard to step back and, you know, detached involvement, we call it, and be able to say, okay, now I want to look at this with a perspective to figure out how to make it happen. But when you're so close to it and you're passionate and you really want it so badly, it's like anything in life, you're just gonna, it's like you're tight, right? So it's hard to see it. You've got these like blinders on.
So in terms of, here's a relationship question.
Oh, okay.
So Ian,
first one.
Ian, yeah. So looking back now, Ian and I came to you with like the mess of our FixFit idea.
Yeah.
Like how bad were we going to approach you? Like, this is like a case, right? Like, we're in a relationship trying to start a business.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a marriage, right? And then we come to you.
Well, Mark and I have...
what level of, like, a wreck were we? Because I'm pretty sure looking back, I was like, we went up to her and we're like, we don't know where to go. Should we do this? Should we do seminars? Should we do... It was just...
Open a gym,
a FixFit gym? Should we do this?
Yeah.
What should we call it? And it was just...
She was like, best way to put it, Robyn's words were, your A to Z is not like very easy to get there. You're gonna take a ton of zigzags. And Mark and I were like, yeah, we're jumping straight to Z. We're ready to freaking go right now. Especially me, I'm pushy. I'm like, I'm ready to, let's do this right now. Let's start it. Like, give me a checklist. Let's start doing it. And Robyn's just like, no, like, you guys don't even have your mission statement yet. Your why. We know we can do it. But now we're right now developing our why, right? With like just mentally vomiting on this podcast all the time and getting ideas out. That's like a good little release for us, mixed with helping people, like, and then the why will come later with like the next step of the business,
But it wasn't. There was nothing wrong with where you were.
Right.
It just like you were at those beginning stages, which
that's a good point.
It's all about the ideas. If you don't have the ideas and you just start doing something, then you're just doing something and you're lost, right? So you had the vision. It's just there was so much that you wanted to do, and it's so common, right? In anything, whether you're starting a business or you just have a great idea, you're doing a career transition, you're looking for love. I mean, it's literally the same thing. How many times do we talk about something and I'm always like, well, remember back like when you were dating? I always do analogies.
She does dating analogies with me all the time. I still meet with Robyn every couple weeks to go over just business stuff all the time because I'm constantly shifting around, and she grounds me all the time and levels me, I guess. And then she always gives me these relationship things, and I go like, damn, like interviewing somebody,
because you get
that's a date. So if I'm interviewing a new employee, I'm like, no, this one's not gonna work. Oh, is she gonna call me back? I hope she's gonna call me back because I really liked this one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds like a that sounds just like a date.
But it's just, again, it's bringing it back to something that's relatable. So I don't do that all the time, but it does kind of come up. I'm always like, it's funny. It's kind of like when you're dating. But back to what we're saying, like when you have this great vision of something, right? You have this, I want to get this. This is what I want, my goal, right? And I prefer to call them an intention because intentions are actionable. Intention is like, I'm going to get there. A goal is a place, it's a thing, and you want that, but intention creates momentum.
I like that. We use that. It was like FixFit is training with intention.
With intention,
it's not just following a program.
Right. So when you're here, like you're at the A, and you're like, I want to get to Z, we always want it to be as fast as possible, right? That straight line. And so, I always draw things out. I'm like, use my whiteboard, so I'm like scribbling here. But if you look at it as it's not going to be a straight line. And if you allow yourself to say, well, first I'm going to go here, make a little pinpoint, put a mark on it
might be off the path a little.
It could be off the path, right? It's going to be like, well, here's your comfort zone. Now you're going to go outside of that. Okay, I'm going to push myself a little bit. Great, you're going to get a win. You're going to get some success. It's going to be like super cool, awesome. I'm feeling good about that. Then you're probably going to come back and go back into your comfort zone and maybe not feel as great. That's okay. Give yourself the space, right? The permission to go back. And then know that you're going to go a little bit further out, right? And you're going to zigzag until you get to whatever that big dream, big intention, big goal is. And then you might set a new one. But know that it's going to look like this, and we call it pivots, So it's not, people, sometimes it's easy to look at it and say, I didn't get there. I didn't do that right? The self-judgment, all of those things. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, you're losing your motivation. You're losing the idea that you can get there, the possibility.
Yeah.
Allow yourself the permission to pivot. It's just a pivot. You're still going somewhere, but you're doing it like this. Not
That's
like
such a important learning principle, a coaching principle as well, because like that's the same thing we want with people starting their journey with FixFit, trying to fix their shoulder. Mm-hmm. They want that straight to Z, right? I'm going to do this drill so I can fix my shoulder pain. I want to go from 0 to fixed. But everyone that's been through the FixFit process, it's a process. It's not a program.
Yeah.
And there's days where you're doing these drills and the workout felt great, the pain's gone, and then a week later you're doing something different, like a push-up instead of a snatch, and then the shoulder pain comes back. There's your other pivot that went negative. But then people get all disheartened or like, oh my gosh, all is lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like where we were at when we were talking to you. It's just we were trying to go so many places and thinking that, oh, that didn't work or this doesn't work. And then you helped narrow our focus, reminding us that it's okay to try this and that didn't work.
Yeah.
Try that. Because we did so many different things, little
seminars,
brainstorming sessions, seminars with your team.
We worked one-on-one with clients.
Oh, we did.
Which was amazing, but we were like, holy crap, we can't sustain this. It's just like too much time.
You learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
You learned something. You know, and that's where, you know, a rule of thumb is like there's no mistake. You know, if you allow yourself to learn.
Oh, if anything, Mark and I were like, we would do this 5 days a week if we could. But like timing-wise,
the pain of it, of like it's not working.
Right.
Yeah, you can't focus on that being a negative, and that's the big idea.
We would love to keep doing this. It was fun and amazing.
Yeah.
We saw great results. We're like, but we could pivot that information we got from that to something else, rather than just beating ourselves up over like,
totally.
well, it didn't work. It's like, well,
it
did. We just don't have the time to like keep flourishing in that.
If you don't, I'm gonna use your analogy. If you don't have that North Star, like we're here to have that end goal of fixing something,
right?
Then you'll take any of the setbacks as a negative.
Exactly.
Right? Versus the goal of FixFit, again, when we're coaching or we want people to go through, it's like we're trying to live without knee pain or find a way to move without knee pain. But that's the goal. You're gonna have all these different little setbacks, and you're going to go here, you're going to try something that works, you're going to do a workout a little harder, which is fine because we need the setbacks.
But Mark as a coach with coaches under him, me as a business owner with practitioners under me, we have to constantly talk people off the ledge with that stuff, like, because they're setback.
But who talks us off the ledge?
Robyn. At least me. I got to be talked off the ledge. Well, yeah, Mark and I can with our own clients, but for me, big picture of the business-wise, like, I'm just like every week can be different for me, so I still love to meet with her every couple of times a month because I'm like, talk me off the ledge, because like it gets to be a lot, you know. But I think that where I want to see, I guess, for coaching purposes, like when you were coaching other business people, did you work with people that weren't so entrepreneurial as Mark and I? That's a good word to put us in, rather than crazy, because that's what we feel like we are.
Entrepreneurs are crazy, though.
I feel you.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
If you're not crazy, then you're not going to take that leap.
Do you think that people in that world will only go to a Farber seminar, reach out to someone like you, read books that try to better themselves, or the people that are kind of stuck in the hamster wheel, going to work all the time and never want to branch out and try something new? If they have an idea, they're just like kind of, I'm comfortable here, I'm just going to keep working. Is it tough to get people to transition out of that?
I don't think it's tough, because I don't think that there's definitely a mindset. Like, I think that's what it comes down to. It's mindset of belief that you can always improve and do something more.
Right.
And you got to want it, right? So it goes down to, like, you know, in any professional setting, it's willing and capable. And you can be somebody that's super capable, and we've had this conversation, just, you know, I'm thinking about like your team or your staff, or even in a relationship.
Yeah, we're going to get to there.
Capable is like, well, they have the skill to do it, but willing is mindset. Willing is, you know, do they want it? How badly do they want it? What are they motivated to do differently?
Because
I should be taking notes.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, when I'm talking to people, when I'm coaching them on FixFit, I'm like, you're capable of fixing your knee pain.
Right. And
are you willing to do the fucking work? Because
exactly.
That's the problem, because like all the content we're posting and sharing and the videos I'm posting up, or even if I meet with them one-on-one, I always tell them this is just the knowledge we're trying to provide. But that's it. Now it's all up to you. Yeah. But they have. I love that. It's so simple,
and
right? When you hear it from someone else.
There's a visual model for it. It's the I think it's called energy action model, something like that. But it's 4 quadrants, and you basically have a scale of, you know, willing and capable, and high willing, high capable, far corner. That's where you're going to get shit done.
Got it.
Okay, and then, you know, again, you're going to have like high willing, low capable. Well, what do you need to do that? They're willing, but they're not capable. Maybe they just need to learn something. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get down to low willing, low capability, is that something you're really going to be able to change? And maybe not. And maybe that just, you don't put the focus there.
They can't get out of that wheel.
Exactly. And is it worth it? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the energy, right? And energy always comes up as a big piece of it. So, and you can do this with tasks. Like I do it all the time when I'm at home. I'm like, okay, well, how willing and capable am I of, a house project? I mean, like the nonstop home improvement projects or cleaning out the basement or the closet or whatever. And a lot of that stuff falls into low willing, high capable, but do I want to focus on it? So when you put it into these quadrants, then you can see it and say, okay, well, what's it going to take for this to be accomplished? And so...
How do you bridge the gap? So let's say, I'm just always relating it because my thing's movement, right? Someone's got knee pain. It's hard to fix, right? I was gonna say pain in the ass, but it's too much of a pun. That was yesterday. That was Father's Day.
Yeah.
Dad jokes are gonna end now.
Yep,
it was pretty bad yesterday.
You're done.
So if someone is capable, let's say they go to FixFit classes, they learn enough about how to fix it, but they're kind of not willing. How do you get someone to jump to the next quadrant?
So some of it is going to have to be getting really honest and open with them.
I was about to say tough love. It's like, well,
in a
then
way,
if you choose to not do anything about it, like...
You're using the key words right here is choose, right? Mm-hmm. So you won't be able to get them to be more willing. Yeah,
we learned that really early.
Yeah.
We want you to fix your knee because it's hurting you every day. You can't. So
you have to be. You really need to say, acknowledge the fact that it might not be up to you.
Yeah.
Right. So you can put it as the opportunity and say, I know you are more than capable of making this happen, but it comes down to if they're willing or not.
And I think I'm at fault in missing that piece and articulate it to a way they understand, where it's like you are capable. Of fixing this. Not just kind of like making it a big thing where they have to learn all the anatomy and all this. Like, it's you have the ability to fix that.
And you're here to help as a resource, and so helping them reduce fear, right? So fear is a huge factor in keeping people stuck in anything. There's always fear, and there's physical fear and there's emotional fear. Physical fear is like, I'm going to be eaten by a bear. I don't want to go on that trail. Okay. Physically, you might actually die. Okay, that makes sense. Emotionally, well, I've never done that. I'm scared of that. It's it's uncomfortable, out of the routine, right? Well, okay, so how do we work on that? Acknowledge that they're afraid. Help them understand, like, it's okay. Normalize it.
But to me, at the end of the day, if that person doesn't want to go on that trail, because they're like, screw it, I'm not even going to try, then it's like, that's where Mark and I go, oh my God, like, we've given you everything. It's up to you to take it next. And it's weird because, like, in a therapy world, they always say, like, you can only work on yourself. You can't work on the other person, right? Like, you can scream and shout at them all you want, but, like, it's up to them to want to get better at it, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been telling you how I'm reading that 4-Hour Workweek book.
Good one.
And it's, I like that he constantly says over and over, like, this could be for an everyday person. So you don't have to be the CEO. You could be the guy just... that's answering emails all the time. You can still apply these methods to yourself, So that's kind of like Mark and I too. Like, yeah, I know you're not a professional athlete, but you're just the everyday person going to CrossFit or bodybuilding at the gym. You could still do these things. And our job is to be able to word that properly towards somebody by eliminating fear and judgment of what this program is too. Well, that's the challenge for us for sure, but it's easier said than done for sure.
That reminds me of the Steve Farber principle of being able to change the world. And he's like, it's not the capital world, because that's daunting. Small W in your world, what you have control in your family, your body, right?
Yep.
Well, when you try to like change things, there's a lot of fear. It's like you have to fix your own knee. It's like, I don't know how to do that. You don't have to fix everyone's knee problems. It's just like, let's just figure out your world, what causes your knee pain, and if it's to modify an exercise so you can still squat, maybe not all the way ass to grass, that's changing your world.
Yeah.
So that's one way to kind of explain it too, is just not the big whole wide world. Like, you have to change everything.
But
you don't have to figure out the anatomy of the knee. It's just what's causing that specific
break it down in a digestible bit and give small goals, right? And go back to that idea of like A to Z. The big goal is
no knee pain. But then you're going little goals too.
Make a small goal and give them a win. What's the win for today? What's the win for the week? You know, what did you do this week that you felt great about, that was a success? Well, maybe it was this. Maybe I was able to, you know, squat with less pain.
Yeah.
You know, we talk a lot about energy, and that's kind of a whole nother topic, but like when you think about, everybody has stress. Everybody has stress. There's not a single person in the world that does not have stress.
And you need the stress too, to some degree.
Sometimes it is powerful to move you in a positive direction, but the intention in life isn't to remove all stress. Like, that's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
But you can say the small win was I sat in that feeling of hopelessness for less time.
Yeah.
Right? I felt bad for a smaller period of time, or it wasn't as bad. Like,
right. You eliminated stressors, but you can't remove them all.
You can't remove it. So
the big rocks, little rocks thing,
so those small yes, we've done that
that's
exercise
a big one.
before. You know, moving the big rocks, well, that's kind of harder. Move some of the small rocks.
We should run a leadership class for people that are trying to apply FixFit for themselves.
Seriously.
Because these are, you have to be self-motivated, and that doesn't, even if it's self-motivated, but it comes from an external source to help you get there. Just like even you and I, right? We help people, we have people underneath us and whatnot, and we coach people, but we still went to Robyn because we needed someone to help us narrow our focus.
You and I have experience. We read books. We've had
a lot of meetings,
tons of meetings with each other and other professions, so we know what it takes, and we still reach out to someone like Robyn and go like, help. You know,
and I do the same.
Right.
I have a coach.
Yeah, see,
coaches have coaches, and the best coaches have coaches, because you can't get yourself to a place that you want without some assistance, right? And you know, I always use the analogy of like the client is the one in the driver's seat, the coach is the navigator, right? So, you know, I think you mentioned earlier, like, kind of how do you help people figure it out? Well, I help them see that they have the solutions, that they know what to do, but sometimes there's just so much other crap getting in the way.
Yeah.
So it's like, wipe the windshield off, right? Clear the vision. I'm not telling them what to do. In a coaching relationship, I'm helping them see the solutions that they already have inside, but sometimes it's just a lot of stuff. You know, so I'm navigating, like Thelma and Louise, right? They're driving, I'm navigating.
That's what's cool.
They know where they want to go.
All three of us do the same thing, right? We're just trying to help navigate people, share some knowledge, you know, a little coaching, a little mentoring, but we're just trying to get them to where they want to go, you know? So it's more like building that, again, that team of people that all have that same North Star, that same goal.
I'm glad Robyn has a coach, because I always ask my therapist, who's your therapist? Because damn, I'm a lot of work, and Robyn knows I'm a lot of work too, so it's
I mean, for me, in that experience, like just with Robyn, I remember we just kept meeting for coffee in the morning, and we would just, your peers and your, you know, everyone, you if you're willing to learn, if you choose to learn, you can learn from anyone. So it doesn't have to be like, I have to have an official coach. It does help, you know? But Robyn and I were sharing books. I think I still have a few of your books, by the way. So if you're looking
she's supposed
for
to bring me one right now.
That's where
she's supposed to bring me one this week.
Crap, I've been looking for
She noted like 3 more books to bring me. I'm like, damn, I got a pile at home already. Got a lot to read.
No, but that's true, and it's funny because, again, it kind of helps. Sometimes you just need that validation, right? Because it is a crazy world to start a business, start a practice, do something outside of the norm. You know, for me, starting, you know, my coaching practice was like terrifying. Still is. Like every day I'm kind of like, what am I doing? You know, because I've worked in corporate, I've worked in nonprofit, I've been in freelance, I'm now an entrepreneur. Like I've done all these different things, and you know, would it be easier to just go back to a quote normal job, like be an employee? Probably.
I think about that all the time.
Every day.
Time. Like I might be nice to just show up and maybe be a teacher and just still be able to educate like we do, but at the end of the day, go home and be like, I'm done now.
And there's nothing easy about any job. Like,
no, it's going to come with its own stresses.
I guess it's not as volatile, or the stability. It doesn't, like being an entrepreneur, that's Wild West. Every day is a different struggle.
But you choose it because there's something about it that fuels you. And gets you to wake up in the morning and go, what do I want to do today? What do I want to, you know, how do I want to help?
Mark talked me off the ledge, and here we go again with recently, right? When we were saying about which time did Mark come to rescue me? It's my knight in shining armor.
We do the same thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, talking about podcasting, I was driving him home. Mark was down to one car, and he's like going through freaking stressful time.
We still have one car.
Still have one car. He's down to one car. Can you give me a ride home? Feeling like 16 again. And
by the way, I need a ride home after this. I'm not even kidding, but go ahead.
I'll take you home.
And I'm driving my rental car. Because I got into a small fender bender, and I'm like, damn it, dude, like everything's crashing down, right? And I'm like, we just recorded 2 podcasts today, squeezed a workout in, I'm late for a meeting on top of all of it.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And I go, Mark, holy shit, man, like, what are we doing today? You know, recording since the morning, workout in the middle there. Mark had an emergency appointment he had to run to that he forgot about in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And we shifted, our whole planned day shifted all day long, and I was late for my meeting, which was a stressful meeting. And Mark's like, yeah, but our job told us we can go, like, we have no boss actually to tell us what to do today.
Yeah.
We are the boss to go, we're going to go record podcasts today. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, that was our job today, was to record podcasts.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, we're freaking lucky to be able to do that, right? And then to us, we always just look at this as our outlet to come and just spiel our ideas and bring on people like Robyn to hopefully, like, a message like this can come across to someone else that's thinking about, you know, making that next step in any kind of relationship or career change. But, like, we needed, you know, to sit back sometimes and look at it and go, whoa, man, like, this is really cool to be an entrepreneur, rather than, you know, it's hard to look at it every day and look at the bills and look at how many people rely on you, and it's like a lot, but then at the same time, it's like, it's amazing, and the reward is awesome.
For sure. And again, it's like I say all the time, I'm choosing this.
Right.
Like, nobody's got a gun to my head to say, you have to do it this way.
Totally.
I'm choosing to do it. I remember I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was talking about, if you're not doing something when it's hard and it doesn't feel hard, then you're not growing.
Yep.
You know, and I totally relate that to fitness.
Oh,
right?
man, I have all these FixFit analogies in my head. I'm
right?
like, how are you going to grow your lats if it doesn't go to that point of failure and get the pump, and people are afraid of it?
And tear it apart and regrow it. And it's like that in your world, in your life, right? So even in your mind and your brain, like, if you're not going through something and doing it hard enough that it's uncomfortable, that it feels hard, then you're not growing from it. You know, if you're in a stagnating, you know, space, whether it be, you know, fitness, and I mean, there's plenty of days I go to the gym and I'm like, I'm just gonna do the treadmill, and I'm like, do, and it's like, and I know I didn't burn anything, I probably didn't, you know, accomplish more. I might have stayed where I was, and that could have been okay for me that day. Yeah. But if in my mind I'm like, I want to lose some weight or get stronger, I'm gonna have to push. Yeah. And in a relationship, like, if you're in a relationship where you're just like, this feels fine, you know, you're not like, oh, you know what, there was something that, you know, it doesn't have to be like intense conflict. I'm not saying create conflict, you know, but if you're not getting into a space where you're having to have a tough conversation, whether it's with your kids, with your spouse, a partner, a business partner, and you haven't learned from it, then you're not growing. And you'll be comfortable, and I'm not saying you won't be happy, but you're not going to grow. That's a good. And if that's okay for you, then great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a judgment, but it's like, if you're saying, I want to be better, I want a better marriage, I want a better relationship with my kids, you're going to have to get uncomfortable.
Steve calls it the OSM.
Yep.
Oh shit moment.
Oh shit moment.
Oh shit moment. And that's what
you learned.
I have them like 3 times a day.
The oh shit moments?
Yeah, I get a text sometimes. Oh,
but that's the entrepreneurs go through more OSMs than I think a regular corporate job, you know? Because that's what makes you grow as a leader, as a person, and it's important, you know.
It's so important.
Because then, like you said, that workout, if it's just super comfortable, there was nothing oh shit about it, and then nothing happened. It's just like it's like almost like a wasted session. Now, granted, you don't want, like, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't want to live oh shit all the time. Right. Yeah. Nothing's getting done because you're just you're just stressed out. But that's why I chose you know, in FixFit, we've had a thing where you just get so complacent in doing these safe drills. But there is a point where you need to step out of that comfort zone, and that's what got me to get back on the horse, and I needed some motivation, and I was like, I'm going to do something that's kind of like, oh shit. I'm not a big guy. I was weighing 166, and I'm trying to deadlift 500 pounds. That's oh shit. Because the risk is going to be great, and the amount of eating, recovering, training is oh shit, because to fit into my business schedule. How many people are going to watch you do it? Oh, you know? And then putting it out there, like, for podcasts and public, it's oh shit again, because if I don't reach it, then what are people going to think about, my training, my whatever. There's a lot of oh shits.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
it's proof.
important.
You need that social proof too, right?
Exactly.
That's the P.
Yep.
Proof piece is to yourself and to others and to yourself with others, right? It's like there's like 3 pieces to it.
What's just crazy is that there's other people training for goals that have no realization of what you just talked about. You know, like the self-realization of like what you're going through. They never sit back and think that deep into it. They just go for something. They go for broke, and then they get hurt, and they go like, I'm out.
Well, because they'll set a goal because like I want to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's a good
by
goal,
this date.
But it wasn't an oh shit moment yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit is when you have to like, oh my gosh, I have
fit
to
into the wedding dress.
I have to meal prep for 4 hours on Sunday. I have to do that's oh shit. And if people shy away from it because it's uncomfortable, and then that's when you start going down that other way, the path that you're going away from your goal. You're taking little paths, but you're going the opposite direction.
It's like you're just kind of spinning, right?
You think you're working,
going forward and back. It's like, just sitting on a comfortable cycle.
And you have to kind of push the boundaries. And that's what we had discussion right before this is like when you're doing something, even in fitness, it's like a controlled test. So just because you're fixing your knee, again, I'm just going to keep using those basic examples. But you're fixing your knee and then all of a sudden you do another thing and then your knee hurts again. It's like, it's okay. And that's kind of I lost my train of thought.
Hypothesis that failed real quick. It's
okay. So it's okay to fail, and then you kind of you have to keep going.
Go back to the drawing board.
And go back to the drawing board. And then find another thing that makes you uncomfortable, or else you're not going to get better.
Right.
Because you stick to the same little things, and then you're not doing more controlled tests to get you closer to that point.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
that's the thing example. Is you should reach out to your coach, or your training partner, and if your training partner is just helping you grind it out, and you don't know why anything's hurting, and you just keep going and thinking that you failed. That's why people fall off of plans all the time, Like,
that's why a coach or a training partner is better than just a program.
Right.
Because they're there to...
It's not so objective all the time.
Because you and I, right, we checked in with Robyn because we wanted unbiased view. We're our own worst enemies. So we were just running our minds going crazy, and then since we were so connected in our thoughts, we're just like the same brain running through same stupid mental vomit, and we needed someone like Robyn to help sort it out, the validation and narrow the ideas, so
it's good too. And we're never scared to approach other business people and go, this is what Mark and I are doing for FixFit. We actually want that feedback because we could keep saying it over and over again, and then we believe it, right? Like everything we believe in FixFit.
Talking to yourself.
We're speaking our own language to each other. We go try to preach that language to a coach of a soccer team, and if Mark and I just pitch it out to them, and they're just like that. It's not working.
Comfortable again, right? If I talk to you, it's comfortable.
Right.
If you and I talk to Robyn or someone, that's the oh shit moment, right? It's like, oh, now we have to put what we think is so true or whatever to the test.
Right.
To an unbiased party. That's that's oh shit.
With a certain amount of trust. That's true. Right? Because I always say, when people are working with me and they're like, well, I don't really know what to do, but I want to have accountability to someone, and it doesn't have to be me. Then I say, well, somebody that you trust, because if, say you bring your idea to somebody that perhaps their intention is not to support you, right? They might be biased because they care about you, but really they have their own intention, right? I want Mark to do this because I think it's what's right for him. They're going to have an opinion, not necessarily an unbiased opinion. So, if you're going to bounce something off somebody or go to somebody for feedback, yes, sometimes you don't want to like cherry pick it. You want to be like, I'm going to go to all my favorite people.
Exactly.
But somebody that you trust that their feedback is going to be helpful.
Yep.
Right? And so,
I've given these podcast links to people that record legit podcasts. And I got that from 4 Hour Work Week. That guy just like emails everybody. Like he's like, he'll find the top CEO and he's like, they've replied. So I've sent this podcast to like numerous people, like, hey, check out this episode. I want honest feedback. I want someone to come back and go like, you and Mark are just, blowing smoke up each other's ass, or hey, you guys got something. Because like Mark and I believe in what we're doing, and we do want some validation, but we're not scared of critiques at all. We actually welcome it because it would better us for sure.
Yeah, well, we talked about that a little bit too, and when you were, growing the practice, about getting feedback from your patients, and so
that helped
knowing
too.
that there's going to be kind of like the outliers, right? Get rid of the ones that are just going to sing your praises because they just like, they love you to death, and it's like, that's wonderful, but is it helpful?
Yeah.
You know,
Mark's done that in his gym surveys too.
And then the ones on the bottom, they're like so negative because they just, there's something that their intention is just that they don't like you, and there's just something there.
It's so hard to not focus on those two spectrums, right?
Yeah.
They're very, very good, like a pat on the back.
Yeah.
And then the other one is kicking the balls. Like, you can't help but to feel those more.
Yeah, but if you ditch the outliers and say, okay, well, this was really valid feedback, super helpful for me, even if it wasn't the most positive, but you trust that person that their intention is to make you better.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's funny because I do a lot of not critiques, but I look at people's online dating profiles a lot because they come to me for advice and they say, well, you know, I'm not meeting the right kind of people. I keep dating all these losers, and like they're just over it and frustrated. And so like, well, can you look at my dating profile? Well, my best friend helped me, you know, create it. Well, okay, that's fine, but what does your best friend want for you?
Yeah.
Well, they think I should be with this person or this kind of man or whatever. And I said, is that the kind of person that they want, or is that the kind of person that you want? Well, they don't think that and I was like, what I keep hearing from you is they think
that's
this,
the biased
and they think that.
Feedback, right?
Right. So I can help them start to say, well, what do you want? What's important to you? What don't you want? Well, I don't want, you know, and they start to talk about those elements or those, you know, pieces or the values. We always bring it down to the values. And so sometimes it's not communicated well. They're not attracting the right kind of people because of the way things are positioned, because the kind of person that they worked, you know, helped build it, because their best friend is like, you really need to be with this kind of person. They built their online dating profile, and it doesn't communicate at all really what they're looking for.
Right.
So I'm all about people helping others, 1,000%, but you've got to make sure you're thinking about who is the person you're asking for from help, what is their intention, and does it align with yours?
Yeah, I did that with the survey thing.
I was going to say the dating profile?
No, sorry. No, I was going to say, Mark and I are the last persons to ask for dating advice when we've been with our spouses like 10 plus years and shit.
21.
We're all like, yeah, just be brutally...
Sure? I'm not sure. I said that and I was like, fuck.
Was it really?
I don't know.
Oh, you are older than me by a lot, but... ours would be like, be brutally honest, you know, we like cuss at each other's spouses, and like, you know, someone that's newly dating would probably hear the way we talk to our spouse, like, what the hell? And it's like, wait, get to this point, all right?
Who DJ and I?
No.
Which spouse are we talking about?
Yeah, DJ.
Work spouse?
Work spouse.
Work spouse. Yeah, we all have those too.
Yeah, surveys are tricky.
Surveys, Mark, they masked us, you know, send out that whole email, and that's a kind of interesting one because it's like, who's actually going to actually respond, right?
Yeah.
For my office, I did hand-picked. So I tested her theory out. I was like, I'm going to give this one to someone that I know loves me a lot. And just see, and they go, 5 stars, love you, great. And I was like, there it is. It's like, pretty funny. What would you change? Nothing. You're perfect. I'm like, perfect. Let me give this one to a bitter lady. And she never brought it back. Yeah. And I was just like, interesting. I was like, that tells me a lot. I was like, I really hope she brings it back and just rips me apart on this thing. And I'm like, if you hate me so much, why do you keep coming? Kind of thing, right?
Yeah. You're trying to help to...
Now I'm asking you to help me help you.
Exactly.
And you didn't even give it back. So I'm like, that's what kind of person you are. So cut that one out. But then in the middle, that's what I loved. People that I barely just met, patients that I've known for like a month or so, kind of new to the system, gave it to them. They gave me the most feedback. And they all said, I want more. And I was like, man, that was so eye-opening. Like right when FixFit kind of started and Cook Chiro was starting, it was like, we want more exercises. We want more handouts. We want more education from you. Because my time's so limited. So I was like, cool, like that opened my eyes that maybe we should do podcasting, more social media stuff that's available for our members, you know. And
you were open to hearing it.
Oh, totally.
At that point, you know, it's like, instead of saying, well, I don't want to listen to that, and putting up a defensive
like, oh, I'm not giving you enough, you know, with my treatments alone, like that should fix you. And it's like, that's what's wrong with my profession, but whole nother topic. But that's what's cool, ideas that you can get from stuff like that.
So from like the coaching aspect, we know what you do, Ian.
Yeah.
And you know what I do. It's movement or coaching for exercise. So how would you define what you do in coaching? Because we all have the same principles. It seems like we can talk all day about how we help people.
Yeah.
So just to kind of clarify, or, you know, what do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how have you transitioned to the relationship side?
Oh,
you know, too.
Great questions. So it's interesting because coaching is often confused for other modalities. So, therapy, for example. Mm-hmm. And so therapy, there's a place for everything. There's a place for, fitness coaching, and there's a place for therapy. And therapy is, and I'm not a therapist, so excuse the very, small, narrow definition, but basically a lot of work done with people's past, things that have happened to them, and figuring out where there might be a dysfunction, and that's not a negative word, but a dysfunction, and getting people to a functional place, right? So working on the things that may have been, affecting them to getting to a really functional place in life, okay? Mm-hmm. Coaching practice takes people from functional to optimal. So somebody is at a place where they're like, I'm good, but I want to be better, and I want to move forward. So coaching is a process, and I love that you brought that up earlier. It's not a program. I don't run people through a program. Mm-hmm. I have systems, I have different frameworks like LEAP, other things that I'm certified in, but ultimately I'm helping people go through a process of transformation, whether it be they need their mindset, they need to work on, solution oriented. It's very solution oriented. So I can coach anybody in any topic, any interest. Okay, so my certifications are essentially I'm certified as a professional coach. I can help people from a business perspective. I can help people on a personal level. I can swing across the entire spectrum because it's a process and working with a client. Yeah. The interesting part is when I first started, in my mind, I was like, I'm a leadership coach. I've been working in leadership for, almost 20 years in my past careers, Mm-hmm. I've been a leader. I've done a ton of leadership training, and that's just who I felt I was. Mm-hmm. And I started to do the work and loved it. And I literally woke up one day, it was a year after starting my work, and, was doing leadership coaching, because you kind of have to pick a niche, something that you can attract clients.
Yeah, people want to know your label.
Exactly. And I was like, I'm a leadership coach. This is what I'm supposed to do. And the key word was supposed to. And I woke up one day and I was like, what am I doing? And I remember vividly, wake up at night and I was like, I really want to talk about relationships. And I've had a plethora of them. I've been through a journey of relationships. I've been through divorce. I've been through going back into dating and now getting remarried and having a blended family. I've kind of, spanned the spectrum of, what it's like to deal with relationships. And relationships are not just intimate romantic. They're business relationships. They're social relationships. There's parenting relationships. There's family. Relationships are just connectors with people. Mm-hmm. And so when I woke up and I was like, I have a voice that I want to talk about. I want to share when it comes to helping people understand that finding love is really hard. And when you want something badly, which a lot of people want to find somebody to be with in their life, how do you get there? And so I wanted to share that experience, and I wanted to talk with people about that and help them, find their, the person that they want to be with and find love. But ultimately, it kept coming back to this process that I had already been doing when it came to coaching with leaders. And it's funny because it's when you and I were sitting down, we were talking over coffee, way back when, early stages. Mm-hmm. And we both had theories and concepts of kind of how do you move through this, this process of growth. Yeah. Remember this? And we were sitting, you were talking about the lighthouse. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I always knew in the back of my head, I'm like, it always starts in a process of discovery. It's always figuring out who you are and what you want, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, in your life. You got to figure out who you are and ground yourself in that first. It's discovery. Mm-hmm. If you don't start with that, you're always going to get to the point of I'm lost. You got to come back to the grounding piece, so the discovery piece. So I was like, well, that's interesting because I've been doing that with leaders, but how does that apply to relationships and dating? Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same thing. You get lost. You need to find yourself and say, well, who am I now?
Yeah. You have to start there.
Start there. And then it's the second piece is the cultivation. It's the growth. Now you're I know what seeds I have. I want to water them and I want to grow and I want to put energy into it and really start to expand. That's the second phase. And then the third phase is the sharing. It's bringing it to life. It's action. It's if you're, go back to the A to Z, if you're going from I want Z and I want to act on this and you haven't done the inner work first, you're going to keep going back and going back and going back. So I developed a model that I know works, a systematic approach to coaching people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've applied it to dating. I've applied it to relationships, you know. I've developed this system that I know I can help people. And they're like, I don't know why I'm not finding somebody that I can be with in my life. And okay, I can help them do that. But I can also remove the dating piece and relationship piece and say, you're a business owner. You want to get to here. You want to bring a business to life. We can do that too.
Your foundation's there.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
but like you're trying not to get pigeonholed into one thing, right?
It's coaching life, really, right?
It is life coaching, but it's funny because
the label's different, right?
It's very intangible because people are like, well, what does that mean? It sounds so esoteric, like poof, magical dust, and I've
met with life coaches though that are more like, I follow this model and like that's it. It's not really like they just have never been as clear as you have been with what you're trying to do with it.
Thank you.
Right?
It sounds like what you're doing, it's more like a mentor.
Yeah.
Mentorship. Is that fair?
It's an interesting comparison, but the biggest difference is with mentorship is technically a mentor is going to help guide somebody through what they've been through on the same path.
That's fair.
And with coaching, I don't have an attachment to what the result is.
Yeah, see, that's
it's all about what
about
you want. And so, and again, there's nothing wrong with saying it has a similar relationship, but I'm not ever going to say, well, the way you should do it is this. I can say, I understand. I've been there.
Right.
And the things that have worked for me are this, but let's talk about what works for you. Let's talk about where you are. Because at the end of the day, it's your results. And my success is not your success.
Yeah.
And it's allowing people to say that that's okay.
I think your background in leadership makes that so easy to transition. Because like I said, I've met a few life coaches that reach out because you're a small business owner and you're just like, I don't understand what you need from me. Like, what do you want? Like, what information do you want to even know about me? You know, besides them always just pitching what they do. And I'm like, I don't know. I think the same thing, like I deal with a lot of pregnancy patients, and there's doulas, and they're supposed to be pregnancy they call themselves pregnancy coaches. The doulas that I love can just come across, and it's not an experience thing. They just come across as like, this is what I do, and I'm going to help this person through this. The not so bad ones, but the ones that I don't think get success or a lot of clients are just like, just let me help. Just let me help. Just let me help. And it's like, but I don't know what you're going to do to help, you know? So it's like, you have to be able to articulate like you just did, which is just perfectly said of like, you know, hey, I've given birth before. I can help you through these things, right? Or these are the issues you're encountering. Like, I can help that. And I think that's a huge thing that a lot of these people miss. And that's why it gets, you know, like Mark's world of fitness, my world of chiro, it just gets pigeonholed into this little thing. But the only reason us three have worked together so well in the past is because like we have different foundational principles. It's that simple.
And you stayed true to that. And you know, I said when I realized that I really wanted to help people in the relationship side of coaching practice, it wasn't because I can't help people in leadership. I can't help people in other areas. So, you know, if somebody came to me even now and said, I really want to work on growing my business, like, I'm not going to say, well, that doesn't work for me. If there's a better coach that I know can help them, I absolutely will refer out, you know, because I want them to have the best possible resource. But my intention is just to help people get through their stuff, like figure out where they want to go and help them get there. And it's funny because I'll tell you a quick story about Steve Farber, because I don't even know if, maybe I've shared it with him. I think I have. I don't know if you know this. So my business is called Rare Find.
I know this one.
And it's been Rare Find Leadership Coaching, been Rare Find Relationship Coaching. It's been a few different iterations. Every time I woke up, I was like, I'm going to change my name. And so, but the reason I named it that was because when I was at that point of transition in my business, and I was going from working with the nonprofit to figuring out what I wanted to do next, you know, I was getting the typical, like, you know, references and recommendations on LinkedIn and all of these things. And you know, having done Steve Farber's workshop and everything, you know, had a really, you know, respectful relationship with him. I really value the work that he does. And so he wrote me this amazing recommendation on LinkedIn. I mean, I remember reading it and I was just like, wow. Like, he said, He said something to the effect of me being a triple threat, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a
threat.
Good
like
point.
I'm like sound like a boss.
She's already my business coach, therapist. What else, friend?
Maybe
There's three.
I'm like, do I threaten in any other?
I know.
I'm a zero threat.
It had to do with my experience in corporate and nonprofit and I guess something else. And then, but he said I was a rare find, and I was like, wow, nobody's ever said something like that. Like it really meant something to me when he said that I was a rare find. Like I felt so special.
That's awesome.
You know, and it was just that feeling of feeling like special. And I was like, wow, I want everybody to feel that way. I want everybody to feel like they are a rare find, whether it's a business owner, an employee, a spouse, a partner, a child. Like I want them all to feel like in the world they are a rare find. And how do I do that? Well, coaching helps people shine. Like it helps them get to the gifts that are inside of them to bring it forward.
And they need it. And you're our own worst enemy. So they need it.
And if they want it, then it's like, okay, how do we help them bring it forward, right? Allow themselves to shine. And so every time I went through this iteration of my business, I was like, why do I keep trying to define what kind of coaching is? It doesn't matter. Chop off the other words and just go for rare find.
Yep.
Like rare find is just it's what I want people to feel. And it's interesting because when I do work with coaches, and we've probably done this before, is when somebody sets an intention, right? They set what do they want to accomplish? They figure out how long do they want to take to get there, right? Whether it's like, I want to get to 500, pounds deadlift in a certain period of time. I always ask them, what do you want to feel? Like, what's the feeling that you want out of this accomplishment of the deadlift?
That I was able to stick to a program and enjoy the journey of it.
Okay.
Because for me, it's, the deadlift itself, if I get there, it's great. But I'm also like, if I don't hit it, I want to not have that mindset, that negative mindset of training, of applying the FixFit stuff to be like, well, this was a waste of time. Because that's the proof of explaining to other people you can set a goal and you can do it. So there's kind of a dual purpose of sharing with others my journey, and it might fail, but I don't want that to come off as a negative thing. I might hurt my hamstring, even though I'm the FixFit guy, but that's part of the process,
So give me some words that are conveying of that feeling. Is it that you've inspired others?
Let's see. It's really just proof. I think that's a big word for me right now.
That's what I was gonna say. Proof of what
proof
the
concept,
system is, rather than
to myself, because I want to believe what I'm saying and I want to apply what I'm doing. Because I can't be like, hey, you guys got to do this, and this will probably help you achieve your goals, and you'll have less pain. And I'm not doing jack shit about it, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm putting I'm going all in with my body, my time, my energy.
So it's commitment.
Commitment is probably a good one. Proof and commitment.
Right. So proof, and that's a very head-centered type of thing, right? So because you're, again, very analytical, right? You're looking at it as I'm going to prove this to be, but it makes you feel, right? So go to your heart center and say, it makes me feel like there's a
belief maybe in the
belief
system.
in yourself.
Belief in the FixFit.
That you're providing a level of, again, confidence perhaps, or like you said, commitment, and showing that to others. So when you bring it to that heart center, and you have a feeling associated, that is actually the goal that you always want to go back to. So to bring this all together, right? So when you're like, well, now you've hit 500-pound deadlift. Okay, great. The real accomplishment is the fact that you were able to feel the commitment to yourself and share it with others.
Yeah, because proof will just go and fizzle out. It's nothing.
And the deadlift piece will change.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to set another goal. Well, every time you set a goal and you have a time the time is always should be, how long are you willing to wait for the feeling? Okay, so I'm going to bring this all back together again.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a goal, an intention, whatever it is. I want to, now you're going to set a new one. How long are you willing to wait to get the feeling that comes with that? And if you're always able to focus on that, you will continue to be successful.
Yeah. Because
you're not focused on the thing. You're focused on the feeling. And feelings are what are drivers for us. It's not the thing, because that could change. You could change your mind. But if you know that feeling is so powerful to you, you will continually find other things that make you feel that way. The feeling may stay the same. You may say, I want to feel that again. How can I do that? Well, now I want to do a clean, 300-pound clean. Okay. Is that feeling of still commitment? Like, what does that now feel like, and how long am I willing to wait to get there?
It's amazing because Mark is documenting right now. He's not going like, this is what I did today, checked all the boxes. It's like diet, how much time he's spending with his family for rest, lifting with friends, documenting with friends. Like his Sunday class, like he just posted yesterday, like has tripled in a month since posting this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like literally a packed class yesterday at 3 p.m. on Father's Day. And it's like, that's all showing like the proof right there that he's like, I'm just doing this different mentality, not I'm following a program that's getting me a lift. Because that's traditionally...
It's not about the deadlift.
No. And
not at all.
That's
what's hard for people to understand. Is
exactly.
They think that's like the end all be all. That's why we had a discussion with DJ where I don't like the term athlete. Because I'm not sacrificing everything for the win.
Yep.
I'm doing it for different reasons. Since I'm not a power lifter,
right.
This has nothing to do with the 500-pound deadlift. It's the journey. It's the things that I can learn from it, grow from it. Yep. The commitment that I'm realizing that I can stick to a program. So
right. That's why on Liftoff on 4th of July we have like 5 lists, and he's like, I'm like, are you gonna do all 5 or whatever? And he's like, no, maybe I should just do just the deadlift. I'm like, yeah, of course. Why would you factor in anything else? That's your one goal. Just do just that. Prove it to yourself, and then maybe do the other lifts later. But the fun part is it's 4th of July while we're doing it. It's not a competition. We're not even trying to... No one's recording numbers for IPL or some shit. Like,
it's not a...
No one's wearing singlets. We're gonna grill hot dogs and drink beer in the parking lot after.
No singlets? Can you only if they're like red, white, and blue?
I kind of want Mark to wear a singlet though.
More of a Speedo guy.
Yeah. Can you do like $4.95 with this Speedo and then switch over to a singlet later?
Well, the Speedo will distract if I miss the lift.
This is
people
true.
will still watch it.
And we all get a show. We all get a show that way.
But nice. I love the fact that, I didn't have to teach you that. I didn't have to share with you kind of, how I translate it, because the way that you're doing it is exactly that way.
Yeah.
You are sharing the feeling, the emotional piece of it, the heart center of it, versus this is a process of a program,
But it's why you need a coach, because it was like a live exercise just now. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it totally was.
And it 100% was. And
free session from
what
Mark.
Happened, I know, you spell me later.
Later.
Andrea, we're going down to no cars. No, but so it's easy when you set a goal. We'll just label it as that, right? Mm-hmm. So a goal in life. It could be relationship, business. Mm-hmm. It could be 500-pound deadlift. And then now I just had a little session with you on it. And it's very easy to lose my why. And just have someone asking an outside perspective, not in my head. When she first asked me, so let's replay it, I said it was for the proof. So which means to lift the 500 pounds or even not. So that in my head felt like that was the goal. And that wasn't the case, as you guys just heard, So it's important to have someone, whatever you're going through. So to sum it up, you're a coach. And a coach that covers many different areas, I guess, right? Yep. So there's no limitations. Is that fair?
I love that. Just last week, Mark and I did an episode, we should have waited, called FixFit Application, and it was us sitting here going...
Trying to articulate what
trying to just do what we just fucking did.
You know the first thing she said, and I want to go back and write down the notes, because we struggle a lot, and the first thing you said was to define the difference between a therapist and what you do.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what we kind of struggle with, because a lot of people will say, isn't this kind of like physical therapy and this and that? Like, no.
I like that.
And it's because the therapist is to get you to look at your history to what got you there. XYZ got me an ACL tear.
So objective.
And this, whatever it is, they're there to give you a set protocol, a program, a set of exercises to get you to... What did you say?
Dysfunctional to functional.
To functional. And for us, what we do in FixFit... Functional to optimal.
Because the therapists that we talk to, or our patients or clients that are coming to us, I saw a PT or a chiro, 7 out of 10 pain, I'm down to 4 out of 10. I don't know how to go to the next step. Yeah. All the time.
Or I want to go back to playing soccer. That's not a therapist thing.
No.
This is
They release you. They
release you to the wild.
And that's where Mark and I were trying to say over and over last week that people come to us also looking for the optimal thing and go, I want a 500-pound deadlift. I did so-and-so's powerlifting program, deadlift specific. So A plus B got me Z. And it's like, Mark and I are going, nope. And if it did, who cares? Like, that's good for you, and I'm glad you got your goal, but we should start asking that question next of, like, what did you feel when you got that 500-pound deadlift from that $100 program you got online?
Low back pain.
Low back.
I'm just throwing shit out.
Seriously.
What I hear.
Low back pain.
I want to hear these conversations. Like, go to the heart center. Go to the heart center.
Oh, my
like,
God.
What?
That's such a good
Go
point,
to the heart
though.
center of your low back pain.
Oh, God, that is so... This is our lives, honestly. It's like, I got first in the gym today. It's like, what did you feel with that?
But there's some...
Accomplishment, cool, and also low back pain. So now you're talking to Mark and I about it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and there's nothing wrong with the other. It's like there's a place for all of it.
Yeah.
There really is. And if somebody came to me and said, I'm really struggling, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm trying to get a place where I can get back into having a healthy relationship, it's probably not a good fit for me as a client. I'm not looking to help somebody get through the difficult part, which they might need somebody else to get them from, again, probably a place of dysfunction in relationships to a functional place where then they can say, this is what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so there might be, again, I might say, you know what, when you're at this particular place, let's talk about how I can be helpful. I've been there, I get it, but I might not be the best resource right now. So, you know, there's a place for all of it. It's hilarious.
It's too much, man.
I love
so
how
good.
that you're just kind of like wrapping your brain around it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to listen to this with notes on a second listen for sure.
It's
But how many times, it's so funny because how many times when you and I are working on, you know, certain things, usually again business related, there'll be something that, you know, I've given you some ideas, like I call them self-work exercises.
Yeah, which I love.
I'm not going to say you have to do this. Like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to assign homework. But I'm going to highly recommend that you try some things, because if you're not applying it, then you're probably not using it and benefiting from, you know, and it's habits. So, I mean, a lot of coaching work is changing habits, patterns of behavior to get you to do something different. And so there's been so many times when you've come to it, you know, we've talked about it, and you're like, okay, so that thing that we talked about that we were working on with my team or with the business, well, I went home and I talked to my wife and it worked. And it was just like so awesome.
Always. Yeah, I can apply it to multiple
Right. And that goes to this whole concept of my belief is that when you work on yourself, you're not your work, like, okay, so when you're coaching, working with a coach, you're not just working on like a different piece of your life. People say like personal life, professional life, social life. Like, we have all these compartments of our different lives. Well, we're one person with one life. So when you work on you might have an intention that it's for your, say, professional environment. It's an environment, it's different people that you're interacting with, but essentially you work on you, it's going to bleed into all these areas. So it's awesome because I may work with somebody, and this happens all the time, where their intention is to, you know, improve relationship status. Great, that's their, you know, romantic life or personal life. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, and so I went for this job interview and I changed my mindset and I did this, and they applied all the stuff we were working on for their personal life, and all of a sudden they're improving their career. Yeah. They're getting out, you know, working out more because they want to improve their overall health and wellness.
But the catalyst was just like business interview life.
All the time.
Yeah, whatever it is, it always has a bleed over. So, you know, I can't tell them that when they first start. I couldn't have come to you and said, by the way, everything we're going to do is probably going to apply to every area of your life. You'd be like, what?
Yeah,
that's
right.
No.
Again, it's amazing because
it's
like
true.
Taking all of what she just said, and I'm going to just try to now put the lens of FixFit on it or whatever, or it's the same thing. People will come in, right? And I always start with a squat assessment, even though it's a neck issue, a back issue. But a lot of times it's like you were saying, it's that one, for me, it's movement, right, in a body. So you only have one body, that's it. And so if I'm fixing people's knees, it always leads to other things. Like, oh, well, does that, I have this neck thing, maybe I'm not firing the right muscle. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. It's the same type of application because it's not just like, do these exercises for the knee. It's like we're there to try to assess and to figure out the principle is what's not working and how do you move your body optimally. Right. And then you start to figure out more issues down the line. Yep. But there's no end point, and that's what people don't understand. It's a process because once you check off something, it's like, oh, my knee does feel better, and then now your shoulder hurts or you have sciatica or you have something. It's not bad, it's just the next thing that we're going to have to improve.
More opportunity.
So it's the same type of approach where it's like we'll start with one thing. We can't tell everyone when they come in. It's like, hey, like you said, just because we're teaching movement, but Ian and I talk about it all the time. We have people at work typing, people driving, firing their peck and terries, and it's carrying groceries a certain way. And that's the important part, because now it's becoming a transformation versus just
I love that word. It's my favorite word.
Transforming your lifestyle.
Seriously.
Yeah, and they don't, like, just like Robyn was saying, that, she'll email me, like, notes of what we went over or something, and I'll be like, oh, it's nice to sit back and reflect, because then all of a sudden I will go home and go, oh man, I just applied it at home. I didn't even know I needed to, but I did, and I felt it, and you can recognize it. And that same thing for us. Like, we have people come back and go, I went for a hike, and that hike always blows up my back, and it didn't this time. Why? And I'm like, because everything you're doing, give yourself some credit.
Yeah, your glutes are on or something.
Yeah, you should be happy that this is happening. They're almost so like gun shy, right? And you deal with this all the time, probably. Like, is that okay? And you're like, yes, allow yourself to be happy that you did the work paid off.
Yeah, give yourself that win. Celebrate it. Like,
celebrate.
And there's, again, the idea that we always celebrate when we get to a goal, but do we ever celebrate the journey?
Yeah.
There's I read a lot of stuff and I'm terrible at quoting, or I was look
That's
stuff
me.
Just paraphrase.
We always, it's like we forget to look back to say, what did I accomplish along the way?
Yeah.
And so sometimes, there's a practice and like, what? Look back and celebrate the things that you've done to get here before you just say, but that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because some people get stuck, and I see it in our gym all the time. They're like beaten down because they hit a wall at a certain, let's say, injury. So like this new Achilles thing, whatever, I'm making it up, so I'm not calling anyone out. But their Achilles, they haven't been able to fix that. It just keeps hurting. But if you look back, you're like, dude, you used to have chronic low back pain. Your knee would hurt every time you squat. Every time you did pull up, your shoulders hurt.
But you're still focused on that.
But now you just have an Achilles little issue. Like, you have to look back at everything that you've already improved on. And now, yes, we're on the Achilles thing. And in this one, the patience to hit your goal might just be 6 months, a year, who knows?
But that's where Robyn was saying earlier, that if they don't go back and look at it,
they're just going to feel
they're
failure.
Still, they're not out of that, I'm good looking for optimal yet. They're still stuck in, like, that traumatic past. Yeah. So that's where, like, Robyn, I'm so happy she put that emphasis, like you said, about how it's, like, going from functional to optimal, because we get a lot of dysfunctional. Go back to our anxiety episode, man, like, talking therapy and stuff. We just talked about this with somebody recently, about that only dysfunctional people would want to go to a therapist if they're having an issue of anxiety, depression, right?
They want to get to I'm okay now, and then they stop all the coaching, stop all the help.
Right. And it's like, it's not going to get there. Like, everybody should have some self-realization that they need help in everything.
And I think to throw something out there is that, like, it's from our standpoint, we get it. It's like, if you do FixFit or you get coaching and things are going well, and then you just stop doing it, because that's our habit. We all do that. And people used to do a lot of mobility, and they stop doing it, they get hurt, and you know why. But we're not here to judge people. Right. It's like, we're always here, like the lighthouse mentality. We're like open arms. It's like, you haven't done a FixFit thing in months, and now your shoulder hurts. I'm going to explain and give you the knowledge why it's happening, but I won't be like, ha. See, you fucked your shoulder up. Yeah. I can wait for you to fuck your shoulder. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like, maybe if it's,
it feels like that to the person receiving it.
Maybe I'm talking about people that I need to, like DJ. Haha, I told you. Bitch. But it's
look at that bad relationship. That is unhealthy.
Oh, for sure.
You and DJ need counseling with Robyn.
She doesn't have enough time.
Oh, she doesn't deal with dysfunctional. Sorry. You guys need a therapist first.
But
marriage counselor.
It's vulnerability, right? Yeah. It's like, I know better. Right? I could have probably done something else, and I'm afraid because you're going to look down on me and say, you weren't doing this, you weren't doing that. So totally, judgment is terrifying, but we do it to ourselves first and foremost.
Yeah, we judge. The thing is, we judge ourselves so much.
Yeah.
That don't worry about anyone else, because there's no time.
Another quote, I again don't remember who, but it's basically. I
love how we we say quotes the same way.
Paraphrase, you guys both paraphrase and don't cite the person.
I read this book. I can't remember the book. I don't know who. Anywho,
I'm bad with names. I'm honestly.
Me too.
Well, so are you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez. All right. Sorry.
But it's about if we treated our friends the way that we treat ourselves, we'd go to jail.
Yes. Beat them up.
We treat ourselves so terribly. Like, we're horrible to it. Is this really hard to...
No, so wait. So if you treat yourself...
No.
If you treat your friends like you treat yourself...
We'd go to jail.
That makes sense. I had it flipped in my head. I was like, I treat my friends way better than I treat myself.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, we beat ourselves up totally.
Get help.
See.
So
Get help, people.
It's what we struggle with defining what we do. Like for me, for movement or whatever, right? I'm just labeled as the CrossFit guy or whatever. But FixFit has that same parallel that you do, where it's not one thing. It's like, wait, do you help with knee pain? Do you help with like jiu-jitsu people? Do you help with performance? It's kind of like, well, I'll help anyone that's I think I could help. You know, it's like the coaching. There's no label of like I'm the, let's say, jiu-jitsu performance guy or jiu-jitsu rehab guy, whatever it is. There's just what we have found is that since it's a universal principle and your body's the same for everything, it's like I'll coach anyone that wants help.
Yeah, if they want to make a positive change, right, focused on moving themselves forward to, you know, to, again, something that they want, that they desire, then great, bring it on.
Like Bob said, it's a different kind of pain. If you're looking to get out of
I don't know how
relationship pain,
Bob still needs to go get his
pain.
Therapy license because he educated us.
I told Bob right after that, you need a podcast, and he's already, with his quote, he needs to just call it Mental Vomit.
Mental Vomit, man.
It's such a great podcast name, I think.
Well, Robyn, where can people find you? We're gonna tag all your like website and social media stuff, but tell people what's the best way to reach out to you and like with an inquiry of their business or relationship.
So my website is rarefine.co, C-O, not .com. I don't know. That one is like some parts or something. I don't know. Rarefine.co.
Okay, we'll tag it in the podcast. It'll be in the description.
Instagram is at rarefind_love.
Okay, tag that too.
And or call you guys. You can find me. You know.
Take an email,
email Robyn at rarefine.co, C-O.
We'll put that in the description too, because I think if you're a business owner or thinking about starting something,
and
they should just reach out and give you a nice little long email.
That's how it would start. Is just to get
definitely.
I mean, reach out to you.
This is where I'm at.
Because if you go to my website again, it's all about dating and relationships and struggling to find love. That definitely is a specialty of mine, and I love love. Like it's, but again, given the fact that you and I've worked together for probably 2 years now.
Yeah,
or so, or more.
And your background
is my background is not that. Love. It's just my life has led me to this place, and so. But don't be deterred by that. If you're like, I don't know, this looks all about love and dating, whatever.
We feel the same way.
Shoot an email.
We talk about that all the time. It's like, I don't know anything about rugby or something, let's say, but I can help you. Yeah. Same way. It's like, don't just label us as CrossFit, movements, things like that. Yeah. So we get it.
Remove the labels.
Yeah. How's Mark and I's relationship? Has it grown?
It's grown a lot, actually.
You've been watering it for us.
As in total weight on the scale? Like we've grown?
Yeah. Because I went to the gym once last week. Is it you calling me out right now?
I might be heavier than you. I'm just kidding.
No judgment that won't happen. Here.
He's so
I'm
fat
afraid
right
to tell you guys the last time I trained.
Remember she was an Olympic lifter, Mark? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was like 10th in the country for masters. Give me a break. Well,
follow Mark's son, FixFit. He can help you.
I know.
He can help you get back into it.
I'm a lighthouse. I'm not here to...
Mark doesn't want to take on that responsibility.
I'm just in my own little bubble.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks for coming, Robyn. That was an amazing episode. Seriously.
That was awesome. That was amazing for us.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for the free session. So, can you come back on the podcast next time?
Yeah, when's part 2?
We have to do a call-in. I wanted to, can we do call-ins next time?
Loveline? Oh, my God. We've talked about that. Dr. Drew does so many disclaimers, though, because it's like you can get in some trouble for...
It's not advice. I'm just, we're just coaching.
He's like, it's unsolicited advice. Like,
do you have to always just say, like, you know how when you're like, oh, with all due respect, fuck you. Like, once you say that, hey, I said with all due respect. So it negates everything.
No, legally.
If we're like, this is not advice, I'm just speaking on my experience. Just email every single time.
Email me your questions, and we'll bring them on with non-identifying information, and I'll...
Robyn's going to start her podcast, right?
That's true.
Still?
Yes.
Well, we're going to make you.
No, it's true.
And then we'll be guests. You can interview us about our relationships. Mark's is a fun one.
Bring Andrea and I on.
Yeah, if you want to bring our couples on.
Yes, but it's not therapy. But no, I love it.
Free therapy session for Mark now.
Oh my! How much alcohol can we bring?
You guys are awesome. I love coaching and cocktailing. It's actually a favorite thing.
Coaching
it's
and
a thing.
We'll be doing that later.
Podcast later.
We would be interesting couples. Mark's had a kid when he was like, what? How old? In your relationship?
16.
And how long were you guys dating?
Many of moons.
There's no judgment. We all have our different
I'm
journeys.
like 11 years or 12.
Here's a funny
Those are good
story.
ones to hear.
Someone in the gym the other day, Andrew was there to pick me up, right? Because we only have a car, we're mopping. And then we're talking about high schools, and someone asked, like, oh, what high school did you go to? And Andrew's like, the Teen Parent Center. They're like, the kind of like awkward, like, huh, what, who? Yeah, we had a kid at 16. And there was this little program in the high school called Teen Parent Center.
Alum.
Say it with pride.
They got alumni shirts.
TP alum.
They wanted us to go back to, like, speaking. Never mind.
No,
Moving forward.
See, that's a good story. And then mine was like an Uber driver just asked my wife and I yesterday, like, oh, well, how long you guys been married or whatever? Because we just both turned 30.
Did you answer right? That's always interesting.
I'm bad with numbers. That's Michael.
I like that. It's a safe answer.
Well, I was telling my wife yesterday, I was like, our 30th birthday, we didn't do anything wild. Getting old, you know? But I was like, we can't even remember what we did for our 23rd, right? It's got getting to that point now where you're like,
kids
wait.
Yet.
Right, and we don't even have kids.
23rd?
Yeah, we were together for that.
Half my life ago.
But I'm just saying, you know. But the Uber driver was like, how long you guys been dating? And Marie was like, oh, I was like, since we met as freshmen or something. And gave like this story of like, I wasn't allowed to date and whatever. And we just stayed friends and all that. And I was just like, hey, this is weird. This is just weird. We're using the Uber as our therapist. And they'd be like, oh, yeah.
Man, I'm going to leave this guy a big tip. He really helped us break through.
I left her a tip. I was like, thanks for putting up with us.
It's like so many different perspectives, right? So you've been married. You don't have kids at this point.
No.
You've been married a long time.
I have not been married.
Mark's not even married.
Don't judge me.
See?
2 phases of kids.
We're still dating.
So he's like,
years.
and you need to have 3 kids to know my pain. I'm like, well, you got to get married to know my pain, right?
And I've been married twice. And I'm still a newlywed. Technically, I'm not even married a year yet. But I have
so you're a newlywed.
4 teenagers.
I'm a new parent.
4.
And she's got the Brady Bunch, dude.
Right?
Seriously.
One just graduated high school.
Yeah.
We have officially an adult in the house, so I feel you.
Yeah, welcome.
I know. So, it's all different experiences that allow us to help each other and relate and not feel like, oh, I'm so alone. Like,
no, it's all.
See, that's a good podcast episode, right?
It's good.
It
really
is.
good.
The relationship, everyone's in their head, everyone's got their own mental struggles.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we talked about with, like, nutrition. It's like, everyone's got it.
Yeah.
You're not alone. Everyone's got their own style of it.
God, we need a therapist on next. That'd be a good one.
You need a theme song, like I'm not alone. Like what's all by myself? That song.
Yeah.
All by myself.
Don't get Mark started on karaoke, please.
So
he can go on for days.
Karaoke is super fun at our gym. But anywho, that's a different
Robyn
topic.
doesn't know what a gym is, so.
Oh my gosh.
You want to come work out with us?
You know what? He's taking his chance to.
It's my only time I can take a dig at fitness.
Because usually I always dig at Ian's strength or his grip or his something, and now he's just taking it out on you. It's not fair.
It's alright. I can take it.
We just want our Olympic lifting again. That's all.
I'll cry later.
Oh. Well, thank you, Robyn, for coming. We're going to tag all your stuff so people can reach out to you.
Thank you.
All right.
And we're out.
You're going to be exhausted when you go.